So I looked a little bit into JSON stuff. Um, it's basically where it's how the server talks to the application about the different information that the server has, or such as your name, your phone number, your address, and stuff like that. JSON allows us to better read it. It's what it says in Brother Barney's book. It says it's human readable, and it's just easy for us to read, because it kind of reminds me of hashing, where you set a value, let's say cat, to the value dog, the string dog, or something like that. It's something kind of like that, but it's a lot more understandable to us, because like what I was saying, where you use a name or a phone number, and the name is the attribute, and then the value is the Mark or Lucas or Kris, and so we use JSON with the database to send information to the database to hold, and then also we can pull it back from the database with a thing, I think it was JSON, that Brother Barney had shown us a little bit about. I didn't look into it completely, but it's just it's a collection, Java collection, that we can use to pull data, JSON data from the server, and put it into a hash map or an array list, and then from there we can understand what values we receive from this database. And so I don't know how we'd implement that right now, but we haven't really decided on a project yet, but it kind of helps for right now to understand maybe a little bit about JSON.
You're quite the fluent man of JSON now.
I feel like I need to learn more of it.
Yeah, especially once we start implementing it or doing something with it, you'll learn lots more.
I kind of want to do something with it, just to see if I really understand what it's talking about, and how to send the JSON data to the server and then pull it back. I want to see how to do that.
Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing large-scale things that we've used, that get used every day, or something that's in use right now that uses JSON, how it's implemented. I'll probably look that up in the next couple
Hey, I was thinking also we can use, well, eventually when we start doing our project, I have a server set for my 230 class, and I've noticed that it has like a database, so we could maybe send JSON to that server.
Okay.
And use that database just to have something like doable, or something that can work. Yeah, so that's an option.
Okay.
I have a server set.
That's good.
So.
Yeah, we can do that. Whatever our project may be.
Yeah. Even I think for Sandbox.
Or that too, yeah.
Perfect, yeah.
I do have a virtual machine too that has a Windows server on it, so I can do that.
SATA server, cool.
I've never actually messed with it that much. I know I had to get it for security systems, but I'll look into it more. Maybe we can use that for a database.
I've never set a server, I know it's possible, but I have no idea how to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. I studied Hibernate mostly, and I had no idea what that was. So starting from the bare surface, but I've learned that Hibernate is a Java object relational mapping tool. In short, it'll help us connect our program to a database. So its primary feature is mapping from Java classes to database tables. Specifically, they're almost always non-scalar values. So what exactly? I just Google image search, try to visualize things. So on my laptop I found one that kind of is as simple as it gets, but built. I felt like it could sum it all up as far as, I know Brother McLaughlin likes to do a lot of pictures like that. I'll plug them in, but so the Java app is on top, and then the object, Hibernate does its thing, and database. So it's a connector, and obviously our project has to incorporate a database on the server. So Hibernate will be important to learn more about.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And then I started on the, different patterns. There's lots of different kind of standards to how to use it, and the one I got to was singleton pattern, and it was just the restricting to one object at a time.
Mm.
Is in short what it meant.
Yeah, okay.
And then I read the real life Java book, and read the testing section, and of course, one rule that stuck out: keep test code separate from production code. And the quote, "Heroes produce what customers want." Let's be heroes. So in our designing and thinking, really, what do we want? Because we're the customers, but also if we think of any customers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's funny. So my topic was Java Beans, which is pretty related to all of those two things that we have been studying. And I kind of prepared a small presentation for this. I don't know if you guys can see. It's pretty simple. It's just most like a concept than like something really like fancy. It's just a way to organize some classes, simple classes, and those classes that are considered like Java Beans have some special characteristics, and one of them is they have getters and setters. So let's say a simple object like person, it has like name, all of those things, and we access those attributes through those methods called getters and setters. So that makes that class be encapsulated. And another important characteristic is those classes need to be serializable. That means that the data, the values of those attributes can become like a data stream, so you can store it in some place to use eventually in your application. So for example, let's say that we have an application and we have a screen with some information, and when we swipe that screen, we don't want to lose that information, so we can kind of storage for a while when we need to retrieve them. Another point, so there is an example in the Brother Barney's book. So this is like a typical Java Bean class. It has person, a couple attributes, and getters and setters. And
where's the getter and setter?
Here, this method, like get first name. Mm-hmm. So instead of accessing first name, this variable, we have to go through this method to access that. Mm-hmm. So it helps to kind of protect the data. For example, we could set here, so that's a getter, and we have setter, which he makes, we kind of put some value inside that variable. And so here we could implement some things to make sure that our information is correct or accurate, instead of like going straight to the variable. We have to go through this method. So in this case, we don't have this class doesn't implement serializable. It's not serializable, but from other readings that I read, they told us to implement that, so we can kind of exchange information throughout the application. And so as I mentioned at the beginning, so we can use that to kind of get the data from the database through JSON and go through Hibernate, and when we get that information in our application, we can use and we can put that information inside like a Java Bean class and work with that information. It was basically that what I studied about Java Beans. It's not very deep, but I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I remember doing Java Bean in the first class, just because he didn't talk about it at first, so we did all this stuff. We were accessing our classes and their values and stuff without the getters and setters, and then I just talked a little bit about how we need to start using the getters and setters because it helps protect the data. and just, I don't know, it feels like it's simpler. Because instead of using the instance of the class to access that value, that variable or whatever, it just makes it, I feel like, a lot easier to read for, first of all, for another programmer to read, and it looks simpler, I think, actually, too.
Yeah.
So.
While I was studying that, I realized, well, that's kind of intuitive, you know, like if you have some sense of organization, you're gonna realize, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. You're gonna
It's
do it
just-
anyway.
yeah.
So.
And it's kind of like a nice name for just a way to organize classes. I mean, simple classes.
Mhm.